How a poor refugee kid started luxury watch brand Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe is considered one of the world's oldest and most prestigious luxury brands. Its watches are some of the most sought-after timepieces in the world, and they regularly fetch high prices at auctions. But nobody could have guessed that this prestigious brand was built by a poor refugee who overcame countless trials and tribulations to follow his dreams and turn his passion into one of the most iconic watch manufacturers in the world. In this video, we are going to learn how a poor refugee kid started luxury watch brand Patek Philippe, and how this brand became the most prestigious one. Let's get into it, but first, remember to subscribe if you enjoy remarkable true stories like this. Early life. The story begins from Poland, where the founder of Patek Philippe, Antony Norbert de Patek, was born in 1812. He grew up in testing times, and at the age of 16, he participated in the Polish-Russian War. But later in that year, the Polish uprising was crushed, and Antony and his fellow soldiers were forced to relocate to Western Europe. He initially made his home in France, but later he chose to live in Geneva, Switzerland. He was fascinated by the city's history as a watchmaking center, so he sought out the company of other immigrants as a refugee. When he met Francois Sepek, a Polish watchmaker of Czech ancestry, and they shared their visions for the watch industry. Finally, on May 1, 1839, Patek Philippe N.C. was established. But soon, they decided to separate ways due to growing animosity, despite the fact that their business was profitable. Patek met Phillips. After that, in 1844, Antonio finally found a new partner, Jean-Adrien Philippe, who was born in La Rouen, France in 1815 and left his hometown at the age of 18 to pursue a career in watchmaking. In his pursuit of perfection, he made his way to London, where he spent 3 years working for a reputable watchmaker. Then, he moved to Paris and developed a device that made it possible to wind pocket watches without the use of a separate key. It was a game-changing moment, and his life was dramatically altered. He not only received a gold medal, but caught Antony's eye. After they met, Antonio ended his collaboration with Francois a year later, and Jean joined the group as technical director. They founded a new business under the name Patek & Key with a third partner, Vincent Gaskowski, and changed its name to Patek Philippe in 1851. Series of misfortunes. After that, their business flourished over the following 2 decades, but Anthony had been battling anemia for some time and passed suddenly in 1877. Leon, Anthony's son, who was just 20 years old at the time and did not wish to join the business, renounced all rights in exchange for an annual payment of 10,000 francs when he was 65 years old. Then, another misfortune occurred, the Wall Street crash of 1929, commonly referred to as Black Tuesday, was one of the worst stock market catastrophes in American history. It marked the start of the 12-year Great Depression, which had an effect on everyone in the world. Patek Philippe and Key faced significant losses as a result of numerous clients missing payments. In order to prevent being acquired by a rival, the directors recognized they had to take decisive action. Charles and John Stem brothers were hired as a result. Sadly, Jean-Claude only survived to experience the successful relationship for 2 decades until he passed away in 1892. His youngest son, Joseph-Émile Philippe, took over as company's president 2 years prior. And after Joseph's passing, his son Adrian was the last member of the Patek or Philippe families to hold that position. To make matters worse, by 1932, the company had hit financial trouble as a result of the world economic downturn, so they required a purchaser immediately. A new era. To overcome such a drastic situation, directors contracted brothers Charles and John Stem. The Stem brothers were not just any random people. They were among Patek Philippe's chosen suppliers and already owned a business, Catherine Stern Ferrers, where they created high-quality dials. The Stem brothers not only assisted Patek Philippe in 1932, but also purchased a stake in the business after recognizing a fantastic commercial opportunity and a desire to uphold Swiss watchmaking tradition, and the following year, they had fully acquired it. Since they weren't quite ready to take full control, they hired renowned watchmaker and horological expert John Pfister to run the company as CEO. They started working right away, and before 1932 was up, they released Reference 96. Charles Stern was named the company's chairman of the board of directors in 1934, and his son Henry joined to support him. However, a third-generation Stern family member had already started to climb the corporate ladder. Tradition versus innovation. Now, in order to comprehend the later history of the Patek Philippe company, you need to be aware of the next generation of the Stern family. Philippe, Henry's son, was born in 1938 and spent a portion of his early years there. He was intensely aware of the Geneva's watchmaking tradition because of his family history, and he was also well versed in contemporary trends before they were widely used in Europe. Despite having a strong interest in Patek Philippe, he initially chose to pursue a career in information technology. Then, he eventually joined Patek Philippe in Geneva in 1966, and he just had to get familiar with all the company's operations. Now, everything he had learned about computers started to show up in the watch business as well. However, Patek Philippe was soon confronted by an unanticipated dilemma, just like Rolex and all other Swiss watchmakers, as a result of an apparently infinite loop of ever faster and more radical technical advancements. In addition, there was a quartz issue that lasted from 1970 to 1980. Quartz watches did not have a mechanical mechanism. Instead, they used batteries. They were more precise and cost less to make. And while the first Japanese quartz wristwatches were quite expensive, prices began to drop drastically in the 1970s. So people shifted from mechanical to quartz timepieces all across the world, and the Swiss watch industry was completely destroyed. Philippe was in the thick of it all when he was named CEO in 1977, and realized that for traditional mechanical watches to stand a chance, he would also have to come up with something different. He immediately started hiring engineers to completely overhaul Patek Philippe in order to uphold the agreement, saying that they would have to be genuine, high-end products. However, comprehensive blueprints were now being used to design the timepieces. In addition to ensuring the components' high quality and reproducibility, this only ensured Patek Philippe's ability to service every watch it sold. One of Patek Philippe's guiding principles has always been innovation, and maintaining tradition has never meant rejecting it. So, in 1993, Henry Stern transferred the presidency to Philippe, and the next year Philippe's son, Ferry, joined the company as a member of the family's fourth generation. Patek Philippe in today's world. Today, Patek Philippe is regarded as one of the most renowned watchmaking brands, and is well known as a top producer of high-end mechanical watches everywhere in the world. Its history dates back about 2 centuries, and while several watch brands assert that they are older, the majority of them stopped producing watches along the way before being founded by foreigners much later. On the other hand, Patek Philippe has made an effort since its inception and has always been privately held. Moreover, Patek Philippe has never been known for its showy marketing, as it doesn't seek out celebrity endorsements from top football players and rappers the way other brands do. And while they may boast that Queen Victoria is among their clients, they have typically avoided doing so. However, that does not imply that famous people avoid them as well, because from Ed Sheeran to Jay-Z, everyone appears to want to buy a good Patek Philippe. Adding to this, Patek Philippe undoubtedly argues that the term own should be interpreted in its proper context, given that their catchphrase is "You never genuinely own a Patek Philippe, you simply take care of it for the following generation." And it appears that the same can be said about their company. Being the final privately owned watchmaker in Geneva, Patek Philippe takes great satisfaction in this fact. The brand has been owned by the Stern family since Charles and John Stern bought the business in 1932, and this independence has allowed the business to go its own way and determine its own future while never letting go of its long-term vision. This is the story of a poor refugee kid who started a luxury watch brand that is now considered one of the world's most reliable and well-known brands in the universe. What is your opinion about this inspiring story? Please let us know in the comment box below. Make sure to head over to our channel if you'd like to see more inspiring business videos.